this year. Dunstall a couple of times. Well, the Bombers need to keep winning. They're outside the 6-by-1 game. But Footscray have defied everybody to run them down. Koloniuk out of the middle first up. Was that a free kick to Ballantyne? Nothing doing. Wanganeen at the back. Goes for the boundary line. A clever kick by young Gavin Wanganeen, who turned 19 just last month.
And Wanganeen's got the job, Drew, on Brian Royal, the very dangerous Footscray goal-kicking forward.
Coleman and Anthony Danaher. Harvey applying the tackle. Here's Royal, caught by Wanganeen. Grant, 29. Amazing. He missed only a week, had his appendix out. Coleman into Grant.
Oh.
Ducks a high tackle. Harvey got him a beauty.
No free.
Hills gets the hand pass away. Buick on the run. Over the centre of the ground. Wallace climbs from behind. Can't take the mark. Now it's Steve Wallace for Footscray.
Here's Kreniuk. Oh, what about that? Oh, boy, you saw it. Dean Wallace, I think the book will be out. Gee, you've got to be careful with your feet, don't you, these days? It's just starting, Tim, to creep into the game, this tripping. Well, right on centre of camera, a very crude tackle. Luckily, the player is not hurt now. This is Michael Frost. To the half-forward line, there's a good mark taken by Todd Ridley.
And Ridley's lined up in the back line, as I thought, to counter the tall Footscray forward line. He's picked up Ballantyne.
To the centre wing. Anderson, front position on Mansfield. Good mark. And good to see him. It looks like he's playing on the wing. A shocking kick off the side of the boot. Hawkins went without it. Buick. Gary O'Donnell, a quick kick. Here's Kilpatrick. Winders there to chip it across. Bradley playing on the right foot. In towards Salmon. Kicked away by Tony Campbell, and he races out to the Melbourne Members Pavilion, and again it's socket off the ground to the space.
And the ball just gets out of bounds, and we'll have a boundary throw in.
Yes, and some of the other matchups in the Footscray forward line. Harvey's on Grant, and Anthony Danaher has moved out from full back to centre half back on Coleman.
Wind, who leads the competition in hit-outs, wins this, but Somerville goes off the ground, high inside the 50, and the mark taken by Stanfield, the boy from Fish Creek. Rain getting heavier. Kicked by Stanfield to centre wing. Danaher missed with his punch away. Thompson, his skipper, at the back. Koloniuk, a good tackle. Anderson. Grant, a good tackle. Essendon losing ground in possession. Harvey. Well, they lost about 40 metres then, Essendon.
Yes, Drew, I thought that perhaps Bomber Thompson chose the wrong option, then going back inside, he perhaps should have gone to the boundary line in the first instance.
Already the ball getting very slippery. Difficult for the players. Mansfield, a quick kick, went about 5 metres. Liberatore working hard in the packs. Still that slippery ball. Again, it's Liberatore. Now Steve Koloniuk. Wanganeen versus Royal. Great play, Wanganeen. Sensational play. Wind back with the fly. Oh, Stanfield nearly ran into his own teammate. He's hurt, Barry Stanfield. Let's hope not too badly. Here's McPherson. He's got 2 to beat. Socket, though he was held, in fact, Steve McPherson. So a free kick at half-back to the Bulldogs, to their reliable half-back, Steve McPherson.
Up towards centre wing. Comfortably to Mansfield. Ex-Tasmanian. He was drafted in 86 but didn't play here until 91. Centre half forward. Royal goes back with a hand pass. Atkins eventually. Missed with his left footer. Another chance for Royal. The third leading goal scorer this year. Overrun by Kilpatrick. Liberatore. Atkins goes off the ground to full forward. Thompson gets back. Hacks the ball away from Delray, and the ball out of bounds in the pocket.
And Kilpatrick taking his eyes off the ball there a moment ago, and Essendon almost paying dearly for that.
Well, Barry Stanfield back up on his feet, being picked up by Wallace.
Forward pocket for Footscray. As it's kicked away by Flood, that was. It's thumped on further afield. Wine. As Footscray go forward to the half-forward line. Here's Anderson. Greg Anderson. Some pushing and shoving going on. Real man-on-man stuff there. Well played by Michael Long. Now he's lying on top of the ball. That's a very touchy free kick against Steve McPherson at half forward. Michael Long. He loves to kick short. This time he kicks long. He's looking for the big arms of Salmon. Salmon staged for the free kick. Good umpiring. Tony Campbell off the ground. Socket off the ground by Buick. Oh, it's a goal. Great kick by Buick.
Well, it's certainly not going to be a high marking day with a swirly breeze and rain. And it was on a similar day. Essendon beat Footscray in round 3. Atkins trying to get it out of the middle. Does so too with a soccer off the ground. Inside the 50. Wanganeen, great. Coleman palms off Wanganeen. Kick by Coleman. Del Rey works to the front. Then has to get back after it. Harvey did well to get his body between ball and opponent. And the ball out of bounds in the back pocket.
Essendon have given a tough job of minding Atkins to Chris Danaher, and Gary O'Donnell has picked up the other prolific kick winner in Tony Liberatore.
Throw in forward pocket for Footscray. Collingham, a goal. Scores level at the MCG.
Collingham, who enjoyed a terrific early part of the season, then was rubbed out, played for the Victoria against Western Australia here at the MCG some time ago, starting to find a bit of form again, and I think we'll be seeing plenty of goals off the ground today.
Well, you'd think it was a game of soccer at the moment. Both goals scored by a kick off the ground. Players showing their skill. Here's Coleman, lost it in the tackle. Socket off the ground towards the hub, but there was a holding decision in that pack, and I think it was against Atkins, and it will go the way of Chris Danaher. He's at half back. Been in terrific form, Chris Danaher. Oh, wobbly kick, but the wind very, very gusty. There's Kilpatrick, went for a pot shot, he missed it. Now the brilliant kick it. Plenty of time as usual to the centre of the ground. Play on the umpire's call. Anderson to the half forward line. Bradley Plain comes from behind. Michael Long is there. It's tapped onto McPherson. Good play. Oh, look at the skill of Hawkins. Well played, Doug Hawkins. And a booming kick. The breeze, although it's swirly, is favouring Footscray's end. Here's Anthony Danaher. Thompson breaks the tackle. Good play. The short one is on as the sun is shining now, and Kilpatrick marks at half back.
Came to Essendon from the lower grades at North Melbourne. A clever kick to Somerville. Away to Buick. The kick by Buick to centre half forward, dropped a bit short. Wallace. His hand pass is poor. Trouble for O'Donnell. And the umpire will come in and ball it up.
It's an interesting match up the Footscray side. They've put Keenan Reynolds on Bradley Plain, and playing a very tricky and a real opportunist, and it'll be interesting to see how that contest pans out.
Clean possession wind. Ball spills across to Kretiuk. And now Harvey takes the mark for Essendon behind the centre circle. Thumps it long in the direction of Salmon. Just got there to spoil him. Reynolds, number 2 for Footscray. Plain. And the ball out of play.
And I'm just looking across to the west, Drew, and the sky is blue, so it may not rain all afternoon, which will be good news. But the breeze factor making it very difficult for the players. Wind tried to punch it. Look at Liberatore getting into the packs again. Chris Danaher, Steve Wallace, Chris Danaher, Gary O'Donnell to the pocket. Back goes Wind, 2 bites and he takes it. On to Steve McPherson. Now on to Hawkins. Hawkins to centre wing. Will it clear the pack? No, it doesn't. Anthony Danaher tapped it down. Chris Grant back in the fray. 33 is Hills. Off the ground by Coleman. It's a loose ball with Collingham. Atkins is there. Now Chris Danaher. How will the umpire see that? He's letting it go. Good umpiring as Hawkins traps it again. Then he didn't have it. Lost it in the tackle. Here's Hills. Hills across to Buick. Buick centering the ball to half forward, but the mark taken down there by Kretiuk.
Stephen Kretiuk playing his 5th senior game. The kick towards the outer half-back flank. Crunch, in went Hills. Off Baxter it goes, and we'll have a throw in. Darren Baxter with Darren Buick there.
Yes, he appears to have the job of tagging Darren Buick, but Baxter's been a good possession winner for Footscray this season.
Hawkins ducks, there's no whistle for that. Chris Danaher, the hand pass over the top to Somerville. His kick inside the 50. Kretiuk doing a pretty good job Derek Kickett, a very hard man to keep quiet. Out of defence by Reynolds. Centre wing. Harvey drops the mark. Mark Harvey keeps going. Thumps it back to full forward. Reynolds got a hand to it. Thumped out of there by Campbell. Almost worth a kick to Baxter. His kick round the corner is clever. Grant can't take the mark. A slippery part of the ground, even though the MCG had a rest last week. Up over centre wing. Bouncing ball taken by Steve Wallace. Kicked by Wallace to centre half forward. Royal dashes into the space. Delray was there as well. Wanganeen and Royal should be a real highlight. Delray, been a surprise packet this year. Gains a few metres, ball out of play.
Well, a terrific part of this game so far has been the pressure applied by both sides. They really are desperate to get in there and get the ball. And let's hope that this continues.
Well, the MCG bathed in sunshine. Great atmosphere. It's like a finals match as Coleman taps it down. Atkins was there. Now it's Wanganeen. Now Royal. But that slippery ball again eludes the players over the line. Half forward for Footscray. Scores a level. 1 goal apiece, both from kicks off the ground. One by Collinook and one by Buick for Essendon. Glenn Coleman on screen. Anthony Danaher against it. Coleman tried to grab it. Mansfield was grabbed without it. It's a loose ball. Coleman is there. Also Collinook. Collinook a good start to the game. Royal, did he push out? Umpire said no. Buick backed up his teammate Wanganeen and Darren Buick to centre wing. Coleman waits for it. Can't take the mark. They're backing up well, Footscray. Hawkins a pot shot but missed it. Here's Dean Wallace playing for the free kick. Going in after it again. He's already had his number taken, Dean Wallace. He's on centre wing on the left foot. Good play as he brings it to the half-forward line, and it is taken over the line by Keenan Reynolds.
That was great play then by Dean Wallace. He got to the marking contest a moment ago and spoiled Coleman, and then he followed up and pushed the ball forward for the Bombers.
A low-scoring affair, just 1 goal each, and we have 14 minutes remaining to quarter time. Liberatore keeping it in. Up to centre wing. Coleman and Anthony Danaher. Down to Chris Danaher. Past Stanfield it goes. Wind. Pretty a good trap. Oh, here's Kickett. Look at the class of Derek Kickett. Out to Kilpatrick. He touches once, goes for goal, and hits the post.
That was a handball.
Well, I've had the pleasure of seeing Essendon the last 4 weeks, and Derek Kickett has done 50 things that not many other players in football can do.
I think he's getting better. Tim, I think you might agree with that.
I think he's just become more consistent. We're seeing more of the best of Derek Kickett.
The ball has thumped the ground out on centre wing. Chris Danaher working hard in the packs. He's a greatly improved player. It's socket off the ground. Kilpatrick tunnel balled it. Off the ground again by Buick. Here's a chance for Bradley Payne. He picks up, kicks in a goal and has missed to the right.
Campbell touched that.
And that's where Brad Payne will be very dangerous here today. He's a goal-kicking forward. Keenan Reynolds prefers to play on a tall player. Brad Payne is very much a short-type player, always crumbing the ball, and Keenan Reynolds will really have to concentrate.
Essendon by 2 points. The big fist away was by Somerville. Darren Baxter went without it. Here's Paul Hills. Oh, good play by Michael Long. Good shepherding to allow Hills to hook it back. He's looking for Salmon. The ball, they're closely attending him. Here's Gary O'Donnell. Gets in a hand pass. Chris Danaher can't break the tackle. Here's O'Donnell on the left foot. Kicks wide. And does he sneak it in for a behind? He does. So the Bombers lead by 3 points.
The pressure is terrific so far in this game. You can tell by the players, even when they have got a bit of time, they fear that someone's looming and they're getting the ball onto their foot very quickly.
Pretiuk is there. Works the ball to the front to Steve Wallace. That was good play. Kicked by Wallace for Coleman. Now, Glenn Coleman is 4th in the league in marking, which is quite amazing, behind only Stewie Lowe, Dunstall and Kernahan. The kick is good to Wallace, who double passed. Kicked by Wallace is not so good. And the mark taken by Todd Ridley. Last minute inclusion in the side for Bauer.
I wouldn't be surprised if Kevin Sheedy had Paul Hills off the ground for not picking up his man, then Wallace.
Danaher to Harvey. Harvey over the centre of the ground. Somerville takes the mark.
Peter Somerville, as Drew said, right in the centre. He'll look for Salmon again. Salmon versus Campbell. He staged for the free again. The umpires, well, it's good umpiring in my book as Campbell. That's twice Salmon has ducked the head and tried to get the free kick. Kilpatrick to the half-forward line. Take it again by Campbell. Geez, an improved player. He's turned into one of the top fullbacks in the competition. Wallace Right out there to Coleman, and Coleman marks. He's playing well.
Kick by Coleman up towards half forward. Number 50 is Ballantyne. Ridley gets rid of him. Ridley does pretty well, but Ballantyne's still in the contest. Boot to ball, it stays in. Kick it, covering Hectares. Caught by Kretiuk. And the ball out of play. Half-back flank for the Bombers.
Now, I think if this continues to rain here, the balance will favour Essendon. They've got a little bit shorter team, whereas the Footscray side has a very tall forward line.
Ball underfoot. Here's Liberatore. Chris Danaher, the youngest of the four brothers to play league football, and even he's not that young these days, 26.
Half forward for Footscray. They trail by 3 points in a fast and furious opening to the game. Important game, particularly for Essendon. Well done, Glenn Coleman, as he kicks into the pocket. Over the back is Del Rey, off his fingers, and it rolls over the line for a behind. So the scoreboard, 2 points the margin in favour of the Bombers.
Coleman's been a very serviceable player for Footscray. And in this first quarter, he's had a number of possessions, and Anthony Danaher, who's out there at centre-half back, is really going to have to tighten up on him.
Flood's kick in, gets to the back of the pack. Oh, Liberatore with courage. Took some boot stops then. Kretiuk's doing a fantastic job so far. And kick it. Derek kick it down hurt in the cricket pitch area. Here's Coleman. Leading Del Rey. Almost a top mark. Socket out of defence by Wanganeen. Comes the Bombers' way. Kilpatrick to Somerville. That wasn't a great hand pass. He set his teammate up then for something shocking. But he's going to get the free kick for high tackle. And here is Derek Kickett, who's played every game this season. I think originally they called for the stretcher. Now you'd think that Liberatore would be the injured one out of that. But Kickett actually with a leg injury, but he's up hobbling and looks all right.
Socket off the ground. Here's Kretiuk again. Oh, he tried to kick it out of the hands of Greg Anderson. It's a loose ball. Liberatore, well, it's not surprising he ends up getting the loose ball. Coleman's got a couple to beat. Well played, Glenn Coleman. Derek Kickett hobbles after the ball, but still gets in the hand pass to Gary O'Donnell. Now it's Mark Thompson. He's looking down there for Salmon, and he has found Paul Salmon 40 metres from goal. Kickett coming off.
Well, I think he might have a corky, Peter.
Well, Paul Salmon, for such a tall man, he leads very well. He made good position then. Normally a pretty accurate kick. It's a blustery day. Very slight angle. 40-metre kick. Paul Salmon. Chance to get the Bombers second. Not a bad-looking drop punt. He splits the centre for a goal.
Leading by 8 points. 8.5 minutes to quarter time. Chris Danaher caught. Gets the ball away. Hills to Buick. Stanfield tries to go off the ground. Gets a second chance. No distance in that kick. Dumped up the ground by Mansfield. Through the centre circle. Anderson first back there. Anthony Danaher to Thompson. Kick by Thompson to half forward. Stanfield back to take the mark. Spawn came on for the Bombers to replace Derek Kickett. Kick by Stanfield to centre wing. Clean bowls Coleman. Anderson. Clever kick by Greg Anderson to Spawn. Two South Australians combining.
There's a good shepherd then by Dean Wallace to give Greg Anderson a bit of space.
Kieran Spawn to the half-forward line. Wind in front, went with the one hand. Michael Long. Clever play by Michael Long to Hills. Hills an open goal for the Bombers' third. He kicks a shocker. He has missed from 25 metres, or 15 metres make that, and that was a very, very bad miss.
It was a bad miss, but what a wonderful bit of play then by Michael Long, who knew that he couldn't get his hand to the ball to handball it onto Paul Hills, and gave a little chip kick instead.
Campbell's kick in, and unmarked is Stanfield. Look at this. Straight to centre half forward. Del Rey. Full back to full forward in about 4 seconds.
That's a very fast leading player is Danny Del Rey. He's been a real find for Footscray this year up forward, and his opponent David Flood came to Essendon as a forward, but has spent a lot of time in the back line.
Footscray need this. Bombers have outplayed them so far. 48 metres out. Del Rey's kick away to the right. So Danny Delray, who's had a good season in front of goals, 48 goals, 16. That's a good conversion rate. There's Michael Werner on for the Bombers, and Anthony Danaher is the player who's gone off. He was in last year's AFL Team of the Year, but not travelling so well this time.
No, Glenn Coleman was beaten. Chris Grant back from appendicitis, already showing his class as a loose man, but they've been going very wide. Footscray, here's Delray. And was he off? The umpire said yes. Delray from half forward brings it in towards goal. It's swinging back. No mark to Royal. And again, it's a behind on the board. But Tim, a finals type atmosphere, good hard game.
It's been a terrific game so far.
Now Jared Healy on Derek Kickett.
Yeah, well, an interesting one, Drew. Initially they thought he'd torn his left calf muscle, but he's been up, he's been stretching it, and now he's jogging around the boundary line, so perhaps it was just a cramp, which would be strange at this early part of the game.
Here's a chance for Footscray. Baxter approaches the 50, hooks it round the corner to the behind post, and just out of bounds on the bounce for a throw-in.
And Essendon have reshuffled their side in taking off Anthony Danaher. Dean Wallace has gone to centre-half back onto Coleman, and Michael Werner, who came onto the ground, has gone to centre-half forward. And that's perhaps why Stansfield got that mark on his own before, while the players were being confused in their changing room.
Footscray in attack. Wallace wins the boundary throw-in. Wanganeen keeps the ball in for Buick. Gee, he worked in a very small space then. Here's a free kick to Wine, held by Somerville.
Yes, it's Wine's kick. It'll have to come back. He's definitely held. He'll probably look for the long one. He does. Oh, booming kick in towards the square. Coleman. The ball hits the deck. They race in after it. Umpire calls play on. Oh, Ridley was crunched. Well, they go in after it again. Gary O'Donnell, and this is tough in the clinches there.
This is a tough game. Both sides are 100%, aren't they?
Well, there's no place for faint hearts out there, and there's Todd Ridley holding his head. He really did get crunched. It was hip and shoulder, but in the head region. It was Ballantyne, now Liberatore. He shuffled it on as he normally does. There's Colin Uckman. Eventually Ballantyne takes it over the line. Scoreboard 2-4 Essendon. Footscray 1-3.
A low-scoring slog, all right. Just under 5 minutes to go to quarter time, and we've had just 3 goals for the quarter. Coleman over the top. Liberatore underneath. Clever hand pass back to Coleman. Kick by Coleman. Just missed. Or did it? Yes.
It's true. You called it as a handball from Liberatore, but I'm not sure that we can actually say that he laid a hand on that one.
David Flood starting to find his niche in defence. Played the last couple of games at fullback as he brings it. Coleman again. Oh, couldn't take it this time. Liberatore versus O'Donnell. This is Matthew Mansfield. And he has taken it over the line. Half forward for the Bulldogs. Nothing in it. Only 6 points. Essendon have wasted a couple of very easy opportunities. Wine cleverly over the back. Taken by Wallace, who's playing with confidence. Dean Wallace to the half forward line. Keenan Reynolds. Oh, Campbell nearly a good mark. Salmon smothered by Campbell. Here's Bradley Plain. Caught. Breaks the tackle. Gets it to Salmon. Salmon a quick kick. But the mark taken by Pretiuk. And he had presence of mind not to play on. And now elects to kick it to Baxter.
And Pretiuk, the 20-year-old, is doing well. Baxter's kick is good to Coleman.
Oh.
His hand pass is shocking. It's taken by Anderson. His is even worse. Taken by Hawkins. Kicked by Hawkins to centre half forward. Well, Ridley in front. The ex-West Australian takes a good mark. To Mark Harvey. Short pass. Kilpatrick drops a sitter. Run down by Kolonyuk. Atkins. The ball travelled far enough for the mark to be awarded.
Atkins has only had 2 possessions so far.
Off to Steve Wallace. Leading Delray. One hand. Ballantyne. Royal dishes out the hand pass, but it went behind Atkins. Chris Danaher to Wanganeen. Kick smothered. O'Donnell. Coleman working particularly hard at centre half forward. Long. Back to O'Donnell. Long kick. Into the forward pocket. Salmon. Plain. And a mark right in the goal square to Spawn. Well, on a day when it's sometimes difficult to grab this greasy ball, we've seen some effective sockers. And that was a ripper by Plain. Spawn right in front. The Bombers stretch their lead.
Margin in favour of the Bombers. Some great soccer tactics going on in this game. 2 goals from Sockers off the ground. Then that clever bit of play by Bradley Plain. They need Atkins firing. Here's his chance. He missed it though. Still in the centre. Mansfield. Well, the Bombers doing it pretty well at the moment. Oh, that was hard. Hip and shoulder on Baxter, who wasn't looking. Here's a chance for Bradley Plain again. He finds Werner. He's still down behind the play. We'll pick him up in a moment. That's Long getting it to Buick. It was Baxter who's down. Darren Buick races in the goal and the little rover kick. But to me, I don't know, Tim, you might think differently. When a guy is... Let's have a look. He's totally unprotected. What's this? Well, I suppose it could have been an accident, couldn't it? Long.
At least it was only Michael Long. It's been a big bloke.
We can't take the clashes out of football.
No, I agree. But as long as both players are going for the ball, Tim.
Footscray working it straight down the centre corridor. Atkins to Royal. And for the first time, really, he's got away from young Wanganeen. Ryan Royal, 47 metres out, goes for the goal and kicks it. (3-5 to 2 goals 4, and Footscray get back to within 7 points.
So a good reply then by Footscray. They moved the ball down the ground. Atkins getting away on that occasion from Chris Danner, who's held him pretty well, and he had plenty of time and space to deliver the ball then to Royal, who really is a leading forward, even though he's a short man up there in the forward line.
The margin 7 points in favour of Essendon. There's Werner. It was smothered though, taken by Wallace to the half-forward line. Stephen Wallace, of course. Here's Collinhook on the right foot, trying to bend it back, but he puts it out of bounds on the full. Dangerous little half-forward.
Another good bit of play then by Royal. Just a subtle kick off the ground. Gave Collinhook the chance then to have a shot for goal.
Chris Danaher with a job on Atkins. He is marked at half-back. Half a minute to go till quarter time. A vital half minute. If someone can score a goal, it'd be very handy. Footscray with a chance. Hawkins to the pocket. Wanganeen underneath it. A loose ball with Royal. Some shepherding going on. Royal goes to the line with Wallace. And it will be a throw-in as Brian Royal holds his head. And we're 20 metres around from the behind post. Footscray's in.
Bombers leading by 7 points. Footscray needed out of the boundary throw-in. Coleman. Collinhook goes to ground. Royal tries a soccer off the ground. Flood did well to hold that ball in. And there's the siren for quarter time. Dean Wallace has already gone in the book, and Liberatore has a broad grin at him. But Essendon won that first quarter, 3-5-23 to Footscray 2-4-16. In July, the Bombers 3-5-23 leading Footscray 2 goals 4-16.
Ball to start the second term. 7 points the Bombers lead by as Baxter, who was unloaded at the end of the first term, tried to kick it off the ground. Here's Kilpatrick. Steve McPherson. Oh, he's dropped a loose one. That gives Michael Long the run. Could be a vital drop mark, that one. Anderson. Salmon. He staged again for the free kick, and it's good umpiring not to be paying those. Knocked on by Stanford over the lot. Wouldn't Paul Salmon be better off keeping their head up and going for the mark, Tim?
Yes, he's definitely got to do that. He's almost got to stop and prop and then go for the ball with some sort of confidence. At the moment, he's really going for the ball, hoping that he'll get a free kick at the same time.
Boundary throw in. Spawn round the corner for another goal. His second.
Well, Spawn really is taking up the centre-half forward position now. Derek Kicken has come back onto the ground, as Jared Healy said at quarter time. Michael Werner has gone back off. Essendon haven't got a tall focal point at centre-half forward, but they've played like this on a number of occasions this year. And Kieran Spawn, who really is an opportunist forward, putting his second goal through.
Scott Wine, who leads the competition in hit-outs, faces Somerville. Wine down to Atkins. Atkins just got the ball going forward, but he'll take a free kick being tackled before the ball arrived to him.
And Bomber Thompson lucky not to get 50 metres on that occasion, just handballing the ball indiscriminately back.
Del Rey kept down and out of it. Good played by Kilpatrick. All Footscray here. Steve Wallace, ex-skipper of the Bulldogs, had time to steady and have a look. Valentine sandwiched out of it. Kilpatrick, front of the pack. Atkins. The tackle was high, said umpire Russo. And the free kick's coming back to Kilpatrick.
Yes, Kilpatrick played with North Melbourne under-19s and then was discarded. Kilpatrick was a very good player in the under-19s apparently too. That was Stanfield. He's a much improved player. Went without as Steve Wallace. Back it comes to Crediok. Now McPherson to half forward. It's all Bombers. And it has been taken by Greg Anderson. Anderson at half back drives Essendon forward. At the back is Keenan Reynolds. Thumps it wide, but it'll favour Essendon. Racing after it is Spawn. Spawn brings it in towards the pocket. But Tony Campbell is there to save the day. It's a looping hand pass. Favours Steve McPherson. Then on to Hawkins. Dougie Hawkins chips it across. That was a clever kick to Grant. Good play, Hawkins.
A terrific play then by Hawkins and the Footscray backline.
Yes, good assistance by shepherding behind the actual movement of the ball. Coleman, 10 possessions at centre-half forward in the first quarter. Chris Danaher, bowled over by Cretiuk. Umpire said, Grab were not in possession. Free kick Danaher. Cretiuk doing a pretty good job in just his 5th game. Danaher, a bit of a sidestep, up towards half forward. Plain with a big leap, no mark. Hand pass was good from Spawn to Kilpatrick. He steers it in low to Salmon. And naught that Campbell could do about that.
That was a terrific kick then by Kilpatrick, who was recruited from North Melbourne, as Peter said a moment ago. Dennis Pagan, who came to Essendon this year and reserves coach, had big raps on Kilpatrick, was very keen to get him across to Essendon, and he's played very well for his new side this season.
Paul Salmon kicked one in the first quarter. The lead is 13 points. That stays right. The lead now 14 points.
And Essendon, without this tall centre-half forward, are going to have to go into the forward line very quickly. They have the tendency to bomb the ball high across half forward, and that'll be playing right into the hands of the Footscray defenders.
Well, that was a dangerous kick by Campbell. But luckily, Keenan Reynolds was good enough to take the mark. Coleman has been excellent. Thumped away, though. Essendon very committed. Bomber Thompson, well, he was tackled hard. Here's Anderson. Good play, Greg Anderson. Great play on the left foot to the half-forward line. Sets it up for a running teammate, Kilpatrick. Hawkins used the body cleverly. Look at that. He ran into trouble. Kilpatrick spins and weaves. Was he held too long? Umpire said no. Coleman is there. Now it's Chris Danaher. Coleman again. Now Liberatore. Bradley Plain mops up and brings it to the pocket. Now, was that touched off the boot? No, it wasn't. So it's out on the full. It will be a penalty kick to the Bulldogs. Right down there to Darren Baxter.
And Pete, apart from Coleman getting the ball at centre-half forward, he's really throwing himself about and tackling like a little man. He's really putting the pressure on.
I think there's lots of players who are doing that all over the ground, Drew, and that's why it's a wonderful contest so far.
About 20 players up here at centre wing. No mark. Spawn came off the bench. Anderson. Grant waited for it. Danaher took it off him. Atkins. Terrific hand pass to Steve Wallace. Has plenty of time to steady. Del Rey to the pocket. He wants to go on quickly. Any amount of Footscray players closer to goal. And Coligny not that much closer, but would still improve their chance of getting a goal out of this. Good play by Danny Del Rey, who did lead, but very wide. Unselfish play at full forward. Here's the kick by Coligny across the face of goal and through for a behind.
Barry Stanfield off the ground, Drew, and coming on for Footscray is Michael Frost.
Yes, and that move by Essendon has worked already. Footscray have had to move one of their taller backline players off the ground and bring on a shorter, more mobile defender.
Half back, again Coleman taps it down. Steve Wallace, over the top of him was Danaher. No free kick, and it was certainly not there. Good umpiring. The crowd, it's amazing how the crowd can appeal for a free, and yet when you look closely, that was no free kick.
And yet it hasn't been a game for free kicks. They're
No.
5-all, very low count.
And it's a better game when the umpires let it go a bit. There's Wallace, nearly pushed out of it by Coleman, but he's good enough to tap it over the line. Dean Wallace had his number taken in the first few minutes of the game.
And Greg Anderson, who started this quarter very well, has had his opponent shifted onto him, and he's been picked up now by Wallace, and Mansfield, who was on him, has gone over to the other wing and is on Hills.
Well, that's Wind getting it down. Now that is in the back, that one, for Stephen Wallace, and a few ironical cheers from the Footscray supporters as Wallace brings it in towards full forward. Delray in front, stage for the free kick. Hand pass comes across to Harvey. Wind at the centre of the pack, thumps it to ground, gets it to Grant. Good play by Scott Wind. And a chip pass across comes to Baxter, and that's excellent play by Footscray. Baxter a long way out, 70 metres from goal, chips it in. Coming across was Buick to spoil. That was good. Hills. And Paul Hills kicks it across the ground. Oh, he's kicked it straight to where Wine can spoil here. Oh, great mark, Somerville.
Oh, that was a beauty on the end of his fingernails.
And didn't they need that one too?
Terrific mark here. Now Harvey weaves his way through centre half back. Footscray player down behind play.
Oh, they've got to do something about Wallace.
And Dean Wallace involved again. Here's Buick. Forward pocket plane. Was the ball out? Oh, gee, right on the goal line. The mark taken by Campbell.
Hang on, Macca, I saw that. There was nothing in that. All he did was he ran in and cleaned him up with a good shoulder.
What, 10 metres behind the play, you're allowed to run up?
That is shepherding. You can't take the physical stuff out of the game. We'll be playing basketball.
Absolute trash. The guy's unprotected. He's down. Unbelievable.
Here's Wine trying to work the ball out of defence.
The guy's still in the hands of the trainers. That's real courageous to run through a bloke when he's not looking. Right, behind the play.
He's shepherding him away.
But in the head. In the head to one of the best players, a ball player. Turn it up, Tim.
Look up. I can't agree with you there.
Now the ball's gone right back to an out-of-bounds call from about a couple of minutes ago in the forward pocket. Wine missed it. Whistle's gone. Free kick. Paul Salmon to take the free kick.
Grant is a young, inexperienced player, and I'm not doubting that he's a ball player, but you learn to be an experienced player by being aware of the players around you. Now, he's just copped a knock, and he'll learn from that. That's why you become an experienced player.
I agree with you, Tim. All I'm saying is that one guy had his eyes on the ball, the other had his eyes for the man. Now, that's all I can say.
And as Salmon lines up for goal, Grant is coming off to be replaced by Mansfield. Salmon only 30 metres out from goal. Gets his second.
To 2-5, and Chris Grant's off the ground. Dean Wallace is still on. 36 plays 17. As we see Wind versus Somerville. The ball hits the deck. Here's Anderson. The Bombers are playing very well, though, as we see Bradley playing. He drops the mark. Goes and gets it again. They're playing well, the Bombers. Great play playing. And a top lead by Paul Salmon straight up the centre of the ground.
Yes, that was terrific play then by Brad Plain. And I just wonder if Keenan Reynolds will see the game out on Brad Plain.
Salmon. And overhead he hasn't been too good, but on the lead he's very, very dangerous. He leads quickly and well. He's kicked one. He's almost directly in front, Paul Salmon, and he's kicked the second. Three, in fact. So the Bombers kick clear. They're playing great football. 6-6 plays 2-5.
And Chris Grant, who we mentioned a moment ago, has gone off the field. Michael Frost has taken up his position in the forward line for Footscray, and Rowan Smith has come onto the wing onto Hills, and Mansfield has gone from the wing on Hills onto Spawn in the back line.
Somerville faces Wind. And Wind wins again, changing from right hand to left. Harvey palms off an opponent, Frost. Frost back in there. We've got a Frost and a Flood out there. I think we've nearly had all those today. Hawkins. Chance for Delray. The ball's over the behind line for a score. 2-6 to 6-6. Straight 4-goal lead to the Bombers, whose second half run this season off the ball. We've got Kilpatrick and Hawkins having a nice old ding-dong. O'Donnell takes a good mark.
Well, it looked like a high mark, but you've got to realise it was over Tony Liberatore. But it's a good game. Here's Dean Wallace. He's getting the hoots. He's at half-back, but he is playing confident football. A booming kick to the half-forward line. Salmon! Oh, great mark. Too big. And he will kick from about 52 metres, so the distance...
Tony Campbell's in a hopeless position then, wasn't he? Dean Wallace really did get a long, lengthy kick in then, and the ball drifted over the back, and Campbell, you could see it on his face, and he knew that he was too far under the ball.
Paul Salmon will kick from 52 metres. Oh, booming kick. A high floating kick, but it floats to the left and just misses. But gee, Essendon, Tim, are looking good.
They're looking very good, and Footscray would need to get a goal on the board pretty quickly. I think Essendon are really threatening to blow this game right apart.
Midway through the second quarter, 43 plays 18. Kick in by Reynolds. Wind in front. Somerville a good spoil. Illegal spoil, says the umpire. Free kick to Wind. Scott Wind up towards half forward to Coleman. With him is Wallace. Coleman didn't get first touch. Collinew, short pass is good. Campbell shifted forward. Tony Campbell for goal. Right on the line it was whipped through. Good defence by Flood. Well, I'm not sure that he had been shifted forward. He's just...
No, he's done that a few times this season. He just wanders down the field, backs his judgment. On that occasion, it almost paid dividends.
Here's O'Donnell seeing the ball out in front of Liberatore.
Well, Chris Grant is going to come back on. That's good news for Footscray. They could do with him. They're actually falling down up forward. The Bombers have got a very good defence, as we see. Over the back was Coleman. He went without it. Socket off the ground by Atkins. We haven't seen a lot of him. He's been well covered by Chris Danaher. That was Harvey to half forward. It's all Essendon. It's a free kick. It will go to Spawn. He's almost on centre wing.
He's played very well since he came on the ground.
On he goes to Hills. Now O'Donnell. Again it's Hills. He slips over. Goes to ground. Gets it back to O'Donnell. The free kick was paid. Here's Salmon. He again played for the free kick. Michael Long brilliantly to Plain. And Bradley Plain has it smothered by Scott Wine. And a certain goal. There's Paul Hills is okay now. Let's see what happened. As there wasn't... Oh, he did cop one around the mush. As little Libber came in.
Is that fair?
No, nothing above the shoulders, Tim, although you might advocate it is after your other comment.
Ball in the centre square here. Atkins tries to flip it on. We've got a good game going on in the commentary box as well. Derek Kickett. Oh, missed by Somerville. Hooked back by Liberatore. Kilpatrick kept it going forward. Comes to him again. He's going all right. The kick to the goal square. Reynolds. Reynolds has gone back onto Salmon and just took that mark at the second attempt. Campbell's come out onto Plain. Kicked by Baxter. Up to centre wing. Punch to the front. Comes to Hills. Is recovered. He's caught by Smith. Plain. Left half forward. A centering kick for Salmon. Don't like Reynolds' chances there. Oh, Hawkins scooped up beautifully by the skipper. Doug Hawkins, a pleasure to watch. On the bounce to Atkins. Through the cricket pitch area, Footscray. They need a couple of goals quickly. Delray from behind. At the front of the pack, Ridley.
Well, the Bomber defence is well on top of the Footscray forward line. Here's Wine. Breaks the tackle. Well played. This is Atkins. Atkins to half forward. They need to do something here. Oh, is that a sensational mark again? A one-hander this time to Flood. Gets it to Harvey. Gee, that back line is playing great football for the Bombers. Spawn to the half-forward line. Bradley Plain. versus Campbell. Good mark, Tony Campbell. This is a great game.
Kick by Campbell. Centre wing. Hawkins tucks the body up behind him and takes the mark. Atkins will have to go back to Hawkins. Not a great hand pass. Mansfield. Kick by Mansfield. On the bounce to Delray. On the 50. He's dragged down by Flood. Ball comes to Wallace. That's Dean Wallace. Wide to Hills. Spawn has given them plenty since he came off the bench. Kick by Spawn to half forward. A dive by Wind unsuccessful. Kick up towards centre wing. Here's Grant back on the ground. And a free kick against Grant comes back to Hills. Spawn again. He keeps moving around. Spawn 9 possessions already. On the 50. Long to kick it. Oh, kicked beautifully, smothered by McPherson. Anderson goes off the ground. And Reynolds leaves Salmon to take the mark.
And Keenan Reynolds kicks wide. There's still a lot of pressure on out there. Steve Wallace, they need goals badly. Footscray. Here's McPherson. That's a better kick. Hugging it to his chest is Royal. Royal to Atkins. Atkins to the pocket. They're overdoing the kicking to Delray, I feel, at the moment, because he's well covered. There's Ridley going to ground. Now Delray keeps it in play. Good play, Delray. Socket off the ground, and it rolls over the line. But nearly every forward thrust is going. There's Crediuk holding his neck, but every time they go forward, they're looking for Delray, Tim.
Yes, they seem to be content in trying to get the ball to him on all occasions. He's been well covered by David Flood.
Over the back. Oh, Gary O'Donnell bumped off the ball. There's Coleman. He's been a good player. But that strong Essendon defence again. Royal goes to ground. Socket kicked away by Greg Anderson. Thumped down by Mansfield. Here's Spawn playing a great quarter for the Bombers. Spawn to half forward. Steve McPherson versus Long. McPherson had his arm dragged off the ball by Long. Tapped back by McPherson was good play. Wines unloaded. Mansfield on to Baxter. What a contest as the kick comes into half forward. It's 2 against 1 and Essendon will win out as Hills receives from Ridley.
A great punch down by Ridley. Hills to the outer side. Spawn having a picnic. Kick by Spawn inside the 50. Salmon. Campbell double teamed against him. To Plain. Campbell's man now. Plain well played. Bradley Plain. Gee, Wine did well to chop it off there, but his kick didn't clear the area. O'Donnell takes the mark 50 metres out. He centres. Kilpatrick 30 metres out. He goes back to Buick. Caught from behind by Wallace. Great football here at the MCG. Campbell clears for the Bulldogs. Oh, what a leap by Ridley. Comes to Coleman. Now Collinuke is left-footed to Delray. Another good spoil by Flood. Collinuke again, 45 metres out. Goes for the goal. It bounces and misses. Gets him a score, a point.
This is a wonderful game of football. The only thing it hasn't got is a lot of goals. We're seeing everything else out there on the field, but the players really are struggling to kick goals.
Well, this is David Flood. He's finding his niche at fullback. He's doing a good job on Delray because every forward thrust is going in the direction of Delray. David Flood to half-back. Peter Somerville didn't probably go for that strongly enough. Out it comes to Hawkins from Atkins. They need those two really firing. Atkins in towards full forward. Here's their chance. Again, Mark Harvey. Too strong. Here's a chance for Royal. Brian Royal on the left foot. A high floating kick. Delray can't mark. Comes off hands, and again the pressure of Essendon too much for Footscray.
Wanganeen might have copped a little one round the head then. Coleman from behind. Here's Gavin Wanganeen. Look at the pressure in there. Nobody getting an easy kick.
They just don't look like scoring goals, Footscray, at the moment, Drew. And that's full credit to that Essendon defence. It's excellent.
Yes, and they have 3 players on the forward line who've kicked over 30 this year. Delray, Grant and Royal. Liberatore to Royal. He hasn't brought it back far enough. Behind. No, out of bounds on the full. So Brian Royal, 1 goal, and that one out of bounds on the full. Derek Kicker's been pretty quiet since he came back on. He was benched in the first quarter with a leg injury. Had 5 possessions. 44 plays 20. The Bombers in front. 6.5 minutes to go to half-time.
Kick it. Good to see him back on the ground. Here's Coleman. Oh, good strong mark, Glenn Coleman. Coleman nearly went the wrong way.
That was a good shepherd then by Wynn too.
Yeah, Coleman should bomb it long in towards the square. Oh, he's gone the torpedo punt. Now I wonder if it'll clear the pack. Kickett is there. And again, strong in defence, and the ball hits the post. And another behind a Footscray, but they badly need goals. 6-8 plays 2-9. As we see David Flood about to bring it back into play. He's kicked it to this member's side of the ground nearly every time. Peter Somerville versus Coleman. Coleman, not enough support for Glenn Coleman there. Tim, is Dean Wallace played that very, very well. Races away. He really is playing with confidence to the half-forward line. Almost a good mark to Ridley. Mansfield to Atkins, to Hawkins. Hawkins, oh, look at that. Great play, Doug Hawkins. And back to Mansfield, who tries to break the tackle, and he gives it to McPherson.
Gee, they're running around in circles a bit, put under pressure by this Essendon team, which is really hassling Footscray at the moment.
That pressure is phenomenal.
Footscray's last goal was at the 28-minute mark of the first quarter, and here we are at the 23-minute mark of the second. Clean possession wind and a free kick. Away goes to Baxter. Boy, do they need a goal. Inside the 50. Coleman from behind. Wallace in front. Free kick to Wallace against Coleman. Just goes to show there are no hard feelings by the umpire. 23-point lead to the Bombers. Oh, good mark, Hills. Liberatore got there a bit late.
Gee, it was nearly 52.
Yeah, he unsettled him all right. Made sure he wasn't going to go on with it as he decked him. Danaher, too wide for Somerville. Wind, well done. Oh, he goes from right foot to left foot. Atkins kept the ball going forward. Smith comes backwards with the hand pass to Mansfield. Here's kick to the 50. Grant. No whistle for that. Off the ground, Thompson. He goes across the half-back line for safety. The ball out of play.
And that's the obvious free kick there that the umpires always seem to miss. Mark Harvey pushed out Grant there, knowing that he was in a helpless position, being caught behind, and the umpire really shouldn't miss that one if he'd ever played the game.
Well, I agree with that, Tim. That was an obvious free kick. As the ball is at half-forward flank, there's Terry Wheeler. And Rick Kennedy on right of screen, former tough full-back. Now Coleman doing a power of work, got it down. Shuffled out to Kilpatrick. It was good play by Hills. Mansfield again a chance. This is where they've been letting themselves down. Again, poor disposal. Great play though by Anderson. Chips it wide. This is Buick. Had 9 kicks in the first quarter, Buick. Somerville. Oh, Somerville very lackadaisical, straight into wind, and now the umpire will come in and bounce. Good umpiring. O'Donnell had no chance of getting rid of that.
I wonder if the heat of this game has started to take its effect on the players. In the last 5 minutes, we've seen some really poor skill errors, and perhaps the players are really tired and looking forward to a break at half-time.
They're pretty much entitled to be tired. O'Donnell caught by Liberatore. And Liberatore has been pretty tough. He's given away a free kick here.
Is he going to reverse this?
The two ruckmen, Somerville and Wind, are having a dip at each other.
It's a lot of feeling out there, isn't there? Heck of a lot of feeling.
It's been a tough game.
The kick by O'Donnell. And the mark taken in defence by Frost. Away to McPherson. Centre wing, Collingham. Really stretched the hammies to get to that one. Pokes it over the top to Coleman. Not as dominant in this second quarter as in the first.
He's running around like a 2-year-old though.
He is. Kick it. Oh, it looked as though, and then he gave it away. Royal. 40 metres from goal, Brian Royal. It breaks the drought for the Bulldogs.
A lot of attacking in this term, but we've been well beaten on the forward line. That might, as Drew said, it might break the drought. There's O'Donnell to the half-forward line. Racing after it is Paul Hills, one of the promising young Bomber brigade. Hills on the Michael Long. Danger when he gets the ball. He brings it into the pocket. Salmon can't take the mark. A quick kick comes back towards Frost. That was from Keenan Reynolds. Coleman Oh, he's dropped this one, but oh, it's his day, Glenn Coleman, as he butters up and brings it to the half-forward line. Some holding going on. Good umpiring to let it go because they were both hanging on. Well done by Grant. Here's Pretiok, an open goal. He's missed. A bad miss. But good play by Footscray, and they've really lifted their tempo. 3-10 plays 6-8.
He should have nailed that one on that occasion, but that was terrific play by Grant just to get that knot or hand on the ball to put it out into the open and allow that opportunity.
Just over a minute to go to half-time. Another goal for Footscray, and they're putting the pressure on. Would be handy. Atkins, 60 metres out. Low kick. Oh, that was lucky.
That was meant for Delray, that kick.
Yes, that one didn't have Steve Collingwood's name on it.
Yeah, that was about 20 metres away from where it was intended. Now, Steve Collingwood, a chance for his second goal. And it's away to the right. He really should have kicked that one.
He laid way back, didn't he?
And Bomber Thompson coming off the ground, perhaps injured. It's not often that we see him taking off the ground, and he's feeling his hamstring, so I wonder whether or not he's had a bit of a twinge of the hamstring. He's done a pretty good job so far on Steve Collingwood.
Ball hits the deck. Grant. Pretiok. Ball almost thrown by Liberatore. In fact, it was thrown. Time clock shows 18 seconds, so the Bombers might have a chance here, Tim.
Yes, and Michael Long has gone from the forward line to the back line to pick up Steve Collingwood, and Michael Werner, who came onto the field, will go to the forward line.
Paul Hills to the half-forward line. Werner in front. Taken down there by McPherson. Now it's plain, but a free kick in the meantime. It's going Footscray's way. There won't be time to score. There's the siren to end a tough and fiery first half here at the MCG. What a game. Pressure from both sides. The Essendon defence has been great. Salmon's been a thorn in the side of Footscray with 3 goals, but it's been a finals-type atmosphere. There's Dean Wallace, the controversial Dean Wallace. Had his number taken in the first 5 minutes, then was involved in an incident with Grant, that put Grant off the ground. Liberatore been diving into the packs. Glenn Coleman on right of screen has been fantastic for Footscray, but one gets the feeling Footscray are not out of it. A great game here at the MCG at half-time. Essendon lead 6-8-44 to Footscray 3-11-29.
A low-scoring game, chock full of pressure. The Bombers leading by 15 points going into the second half. O'Donnell bounces past Ridley. Hawkins with great skill, Doug Hawkins. That wasn't so great because Ridley got back there to block it. Hills on the bounce to Werner, back to Hills. Centering kick for Somerville. Stands his ground and takes the mark under pressure from Frost. Now Somerville is taking a Dennis Lilly run up at this one. But he'd struggle to make the distance. Even though it's protected, he's into the breeze. Not a bad kick though. Wine punches and Stanfield rushes it through for a behind.
Paul Salmon almost getting his fist on that ball, attempting to punch it back towards the top of the square where Essendon had the waiting crummers.
Well, there's Tony Campbell. He's got more gear on him than a square gator with those gloves and thigh pads. Now, that could have been a free kick to Wind, and the umpire, yes, a good umpiring by an experienced umpire, John Russo, to pick that one out against Peter Somerville.
It's his 4th free kick.
He's been a good player too, Scott Wind, today. To the half-forward line, kick it in front. Oh, it didn't quite hold it long enough. Dean Wallace kicks it wide. Stephen Wallace can't keep it as he's bumped over the line by Kilpatrick. It'll be a throw-in halfway between centre wing and half-forward for the Bombers. First few minutes here vitally important as far as Footscray are concerned. Essendon with a handy little break. O'Donnell with a back flip. Here's Stephen Wallace. It's been a great play for Footscray for a number of years now. Now Hawkins going to ground and a little bit fortunate to get that one.
Yes, Doug, he's a real pro at being able to sucker a free kick out of an umpire. and then pulling his arm back and grabbing hold of the opponent and pulling him over top of him for a free kick.
Kick by Hawkins to centre wing. Coleman came from nowhere. The ball's gone out of play and we'll have a throw.
There's been a couple of changes at half-time. Footscray have taken Baxter out of the ruck roving position, and he's down on a back flank on Ridley.
Here's McPherson. Skirts round behind the pack. Up towards half-forward. Koliniuk, the only chance for Footscray. He's after it now inside the 50, but back off the ball. Free kick to Grant, which penalises the side.
What about the advantage there? That's a funny old rule, isn't it, Tim?
Mystifying's the word.
Chris Grant. Fancy having your appendix out and playing footy 2 weeks later. Modern medicine for you. McPherson into Atkins. Hand pass blocked by Kickett. Wide open for Derek Kickett. But a poor old kick. Disappointing. Now Werner. Michael Werner. 40 metres from goal. And he's missed it.
Too much mucking around by Footscray up forward. Then he should have kicked at Steve McPherson when he first got it. Short one across to Campbell. Now Tony Campbell brings it to the half-back line. Hawkins versus Kilpatrick. Here's Greg Anderson. Well played. That was great skill by Anderson. In towards Salmon. Waits for the bounce. Then tried to tap it on to Kilpatrick. Campbell goes with the ball and takes it over the line. So it'll be a throw-in in front of the Melbourne Members Pavilion. 3:11 plays 6:10. So that's 16 points in favour of the Bombers.
Salmon having a run on the ball against Wind. Wind wins to Liberatore. Spawn, 10 possessions in the second quarter. His left footer to the edge of the goal square. Campbell getting behind the attackers and shepherding that ball out.
That was a poor kick then by Kieran Spawn. He had enough time to get that ball angled correctly on his foot and to screw that one back towards the top of the square.
He can come out of this. Real tug-of-war at ground level. Umpire Russo comes in and will ball it up. Reynolds, number 2. Boy, does he look like a footballer. Ex-Essendon player, playing against his old side. Played minor grades with the Bombers.
He looks more like a boxer with that hairdo. There's the punch towards half-back. Atkins went without it. Atkins again, they really need him firing. Oh, kicked away by Wine. Oh, luck's a fortune that it didn't go out in the full then. He probably had time to pick that up. Terrific young ruckman, Scott Wine. Versus Peter Somerville, who's also improved. It's a half forward for Essendon. Gary O'Donnell goes to ground. There's Buick. 9 kicks in the first quarter, Buick. Liberatore, cleverly. Oh, that's in the back against Kickett. It was a very, very crude tackle on Wallace.
Yeah, might have been lucky he fumbled it then, Steve Wallace. Allowed him to get a free kick out of it. Coleman. Spoiled by Dean Wallace. Oh, great play by Derek Kickett. The hand pass magnificent. Hills to O'Donnell. Salmon. Campbell spoils, but Salmon regathers. All Footscray in defence. Hawkins. Skill by Doug Hawkins. Brilliant football. Fantastic stuff. To Baxter. Kicked by Baxter to half forward. Smith pushed out of it. Has to be a free kick against Kilpatrick.
That was fantastic then. On one back flank we saw Derek Kickett take possession of the ball. Some magical bit of play, and then down the other end Hawkins.
Rowan Smith. Oh, Grant, one bite, almost took the mark, but he didn't have any backup support, which allows Paul Hills to retrieve it and bring it to centre wing. Steve McPherson, a good mark, read that very, very well. But they're leaving Footscray on the forward line, leaving it to too many times to one guy on his own, Tim.
Yes, I think a lot of Essendon pressures have been applied at half-back, and the ball is not going in the fashion that Footscray would like.
Here's Glenn Coleman. Way out at half-forward, a booming kick into the pocket. Mark Harvey back with the flight of the ball, and he read it well. Good mark.
He's played well again today on Grant, hasn't he?
He's had a fine season, Mark Harvey. Former half-forward, plenty of courage. Oh, there's Glenn Coleman. Is he having a great game?
What a poor kick then by Harvey. Had other options.
Now, this is where they're falling down, Footscray. They're getting getting it down there time and time again, but nothing happening. Full marks to the Bomber defence. Now the leader's onto the pocket. Oh, look at this. That is shocking forward play. There's the mugging, the 50-metre penalty, and that is just terrible play by Footscray, as Buick will now take it up on centre wing.
Yes, it was a poor kick then, but Essendon crowded the Footscray forward line. A lot of players dropped back into the holes, so it made it very difficult for them to pinpoint a kick.
Well, in that case, he should have kicked long.
First 50-metre penalty of the day. Short pass to Wallace, still in the centre circle. He goes for a bit of distance, gets a lot of height. Wrenched out of there by Werner. Little toe poke by Salmon. Campbell did well, very well. Somerville comes back to kick it. 70 metres from goal. He's cornered by Liberatore, but finds Chris Danaher. Kicked by Danaher. Salmon. When you look around at the opposition, there's nobody there within 6 inches of him for height.
That's the perfect kick to the big fellow, though, isn't it? That is the perfect kick out in front where he's got a bit of an advantage leading on to the ball. And that was wonderful play then again by Kickett to create a bit of time and a bit of space for the Essendon forwards.
Terry Wheeler making some moves on the chessboard. You might see them transferred to the field soon. Paul Salmon's kick 3, going for number 4. 17-point lead now, and now 23.
There are all sorts of claims.
Term as we see Liberatore belting it forward. Who's there? It's all Essendon. Wanganeen ran straight at it. Here's Kollenuk. Oh, he's kicked it straight into the man. Shuffled on the Kollenuk again. He's looking for Royal. There's another strong tackle. Now Liberatore. Quick kick to the pocket. Wanganeen running back with a little... Oh, free kick to Wanganeen. He didn't have the ball. A poor tackle that by Denny Del Rey. Gavin Wanganeen, exciting young player. Finds Anderson. Bombers doing it well at the moment. Greg Anderson to centre wing. Coleman sets himself, almost gave away the free kick. Wine plays on. Steve McPherson should bomb it long here. He does. He brings it in towards full forward. At the back was Grant. Now Royal. Royal has a smothered desperation by Wanganeen. Terrific play as the Bombers go away again. Here's Liberatore. He's looking for someone to give it to. Steve McPherson caught. Loses the ball in the tackle. Great play, Essendon again. Desperation by that Bomber defence. Liberatore again. Now it's Chris Danaher. This is good stuff. Now Wills. Now Wallace. Terrific play by the Bomber defences. Keenan Reynolds now thumps it back to Buick.
Gee, that was junkyard dog stuff, wasn't it? Derek Kickett. His kick long to the 50. Spawn doing well. Back there is Pretiuk. Spawn keeps it in. He just ran it over the boundary line. The throw in.
It's not a purist game of football, but you go a long way to see a better contest, wouldn't it?
Really good stuff. And the crowd had started the game up, huddled up under the covers, now out in the sun. Kick it. Salmon. Oh, used his body beautifully that time on Campbell. I heard Tony Campbell say yesterday that any time his opponent kicks more than 4 goals, he, Campbell, reckons he's had a bad day. Well, Salmon's kicked 4 already, and this should be 5.
Well, I just think this proves once and for all that this man should never be moved from full forward. If you're coaching against this side, you'd shudder every time Salmon went down to full forward.
Well, Campbell's your best bet. At different stages they've tried Reynolds. Well, you'd certainly be shuddering then. The height difference, astronomical. Paul Salmon to give the Bombers a really big lead. He's got 5.
Bulldogs, can they mount something? Been well down up forward. They've got no one looks like kicking 4 or 5 goals to set them alight. And And the Bombers have just been completely desperate all over the field, Tim.
Yes, I see Footscray have shifted Grant back to full forward. I wonder if it isn't time to throw the whole forward line around, perhaps bring Tony Campbell, who has played a lot of his early football in the forward line, up into the forward line, and really just try and upset the Essendon back line.
Well, they've got to do something different, because at the moment they don't look like scoring goals, and that's the name of the game. And Essendon go down their end, and you've got Big Salmon at full forward, always looking dangerous.
That's right. Keenan Reynolds is another player on the Footscray back line who's played a lot of football in the forward line, so I think it's about time that Footscray threw caution to the wind.
Well, almost a free kick to Wine there. Geez, a good ruckman. Salmon, Somerville, I should say, giving away the free kick again. Steve McPherson, the long bomb. Oh, look at this again. Good mark, David Flood, but Denny Del Rey just made it too easy for Flood then. Flood out to centre wing. Buick. They give away the free kick on Wallace. Well, I think the umpires are doing an outstanding job today. It's good to see they're picking up these obvious infringements and also letting the game go.
Freeze is 16 to 13 in favour of Footscray. A pretty low count. Dean Wallace goes round the boundary line, beats Steve Wallace out of bounds. Let's talk about the options for Footscray on the forward line. Now, in the past, Ballantyne's been a goal kicker, but this year's kicked just 9 goals in 7 games.
Yes, he's spent a lot of time on the interchange bench today, so perhaps it's time to bring him back on also.
Steve McPherson bursts out of the pack, bounces past Coleman, and out of play near the 50.
One of the big problems they've had today so far is that their main ball winners, Baxter, Liberatore and Atkins, have really been shut down, and they're not going forward with clean possessions, Footscray.
And Del Rey, their leading goal kicker this year with 48 goals, just 3 kicks today. Steve Wallace into McPherson. Here's a chance. Steve McPherson, 40 metres out. And that drifts away to the right.
He ran too close to the man coming towards him, Tim.
Yes, he did. He was trying to steady himself, probably took an extra 2 steps.
Well, there's Tony Campbell. And we'll just pick him up in a moment. I think he is heading to the forward line. Well, here is Michael Long in towards half forward. It clears the pack. Another chance, this time to Werner. He kicks it wide and out on the full. And it might have shot Footscray's bolt. Now, Campbell, while he's heading back down, no, he's heading to the forward line. So we've coached well up here in the box as the kick comes. It was you, was it, Tim? Now, here's the dangerous Derek Kickett. Bradley Plain chips it in. Danger here for Footscray because Kieran Spawn around the corner. Oh, Salmon's going to mark this. Barry Stanfield completely out of position. A quick kick by Spawn, marked by Salmon, and what a thorn in the side of Footscray he is.
This is proving to be too good, too big and too strong for all the Footscray backmen, but it's still the Essendon midfielders who keep pumping the ball up there that's creating the opportunities.
Paul Salmon has kicked 5 goals. And I would never move him from full forward. I don't want to harp on it, but you've just got no one comparable in size or with that size with the same ability. Here's Paul Salmon kicking a goal and he puts it through.
Well, Paul Salmon has kicked the Bombers' last 5 goals. So he is really the difference between the sides. Coleman comes back to Atkins. Atkins up towards half forward. All Essendon. Wanganeen backed himself and played it beautifully on Gavin Wanganeen. The Buick. Essendon cutting them apart now. Buick well played. And what a disposal it was for Ridley to take the mark just outside the 50. Salmon breaks away from Stanfield. He'll get this again. This time underneath it. Did Stanfield push him out? Salmon's waiting for a whistle.
He played for the free kick again, Drew.
And through for a minor score from Ridley.
Well, they just don't look like scoring goals. The Bulldogs, Essendon, a very impressive display. They've really hit top form, the Bombers. Here's the big fly by Wallace. Disciplined punch. Baxter had a very quiet game. Breaks the tackle. Brings it in towards Long and Collinor. Punched down by Long again. Disciplined play. Here's Dean Wallace. A quick little kick around the boundary line. Bradley Plain. Now Baxter. Baxter shouldn't get off a hand pass here. No, good pressure by Ridley. It forces the ball over the line. It's at half forward for Essendon. It's been their game so far. 9-11 to 3-12. Fancy Footscray, 3 goals, and we've got 9 minutes to go in the third term. There's Keenan Reynolds, and he puts it out of bounds on the full.
Actually, this will be Footscray's worst belting for the season if this keeps up. By Anderson. Line gets back there and takes the mark.
There's a poor kick there. Salmon led up the ground and Anderson kicked to the pocket and to Wine's favoured side.
Flips off the back of the hands. Werner. Hand pass to Buick, unmarked in the forward pocket. Hills breaks the tackle. Comes backwards to Plain. Plain goals.
Great play by the Bombers. 10-11 plays 3-12. It's been all Essendon in this term. There's Somerville and Chris Danaher. Now a chance as we see the ball kicked forward for Footscray by Frost. Racing after it is Harvey, one of that very strong defensive unit that has shut out those Footscray forwards, and great play as he put it to the boundary line, and the Bombers supporters roar with delight. It's at half forward. A long way out at half forward is Dean Wallace doing the ruck work, and it's tapped back towards Hills, but it beats him over the line. I don't know what Footscray can do, Tim. They're nonplussed at the moment. They've tried a few things. It's just not coming off.
Dean Wallace against Coleman. Clean possession to Glenn Coleman. Centering kick. They're charging at it from everywhere, 1,000 miles an hour. Pretihook went without it. Buick didn't. Got the hand pass away. Advantage was going to be a free kick there. Chris Danaher steers the pass to Spawn. Spawn run down from behind. Good tackle by Pretihook. The umpire said it was in the back, and it's a free kick to Spawn.
I think that's unfair, that decision. Let's have a look. What else could he have done? Like, he took the dive as he,
yes,
you know.
what you have to do there is turn the bloke to the side a little
back.
bit.
Yeah.
Salmon on a lead, but in front was Reynolds. A 30-metre punch. Hills. Time to steady. Back in the direction of Werner and Plain in front. Liberatore. Is he over the ball, not getting it out? Whoa, he gets
lucky.
A free kick. That's how you win Brownlows.
It's very lucky free kick. Here's Danny Delray showing a bit of class in defence on the left foot. Beautiful kick too to Smith. Campbell's down on the forward line now. Grabs it. Quick kick to half forward. They need something to happen here. Royal. Oh, look at Wanganeen. Great play. Sensational play, Wanganeen, as he ended up with the ball. Over to Gary O'Donnell. Now Liberatore. Now Wallace. Steve McPherson, nothing happening for Footscray. The kick in towards Collinhook. Or at the back, 2 Footscray players run into each other. Kick it, receives from Flood. Now Harvey. The wide ball is with Wanganeen. Still Wanganeen. And he's tripped up. Oh, what great play by the youngster. Tremendous play.
Essendon have had a lot of good players today. None better in their back line than Gavin Wanganeen.
Oh, he's been a revelation in the back pocket.
Yes, he was starting to find a little bit tough in AFL football, being constantly tagged on the forward line and taken out of the game. It's been a wonderful move by Kevin Sheedy to put him back there.
Line, Campbell with one hand, one glove. Atkins, the hand pass to Smith. Haven't seen much of him today. Long kick by Smith. Chance for Royal. Flood gets back there. And the ball out of bounds. It's blazing away, Footscray. They've kicked just 1 goal since the 28-minute mark of the first quarter. And well, they don't know where their next goal is coming from.
Well, you can see they've had 3 centre breaks to 1, but it's full mass of that Bomber defence. Here's Liberatore. What can they... Atkins a chance on the left foot. And I think he might have just missed, has he? Yes. So things not happening up forward.
No, they've had opportunities, but there's always been pressure there, hasn't there? Even on that occasion, Atkins had someone breathing down his neck. They've never been allowed to get a clean shot at goal.
Footscray's only losses in the last 9 rounds have been by 9 points and 6 points. So to be down by 40 here is a real thumping. Anderson. Cut off the ball, free kick to Werner. Against Frost. Werner. Hand pass is blocked. McPherson. Frost tackled high and will take a free kick.
Simmons in the ruck and Somerville having a breather.
You just told Sheedy not to move him.
Yes, I know. I think they've got to give Somerville a rest at some stage, I suppose. He's kick it to Buick. I will allow him 95% at full forward then. Will we, Drew?
Yeah.
There's the kick across the ground to Spawn. So they've been impressive, Essendon. To centre wing, good mark by Steve Wallace. He's been one of Footscray's better players. On to Baxter. Baxter in towards half forward. Royal roved well at the back. He waited for it, then was held. Oh, got paid. Flood to Spawn. Anthony Danaher.
Yes, he's just come on to replace Brad Plain.
Anthony Danaher. Beautiful kick as usual to the half forward line. Salmon, the big arms went up. No mark. He's Wine. Did that very, very well. Geez, a good player. Steve McPherson chips it across. Coleman. Oh, he waited. He should give that off to the smaller player, Glenn Coleman. He elects to kick it into Royal and Wanganeen. Royal, no mark. Wanganeen putting the pressure on, and off he goes, the little fella, and brings it across the hills.
You just can't afford to lose your footing in football today.
Hills up towards centre wing to Spawn. At ground level, Steve Wallace. His kick inside, or just outside the 50. Hawkins sandwich, kick it after it. Oh, top play by Derek Kickett. And a bit of a ruffle of the hair from Darren Buick, and a standing ovation from the Essendon fans.
Anthony Danaher has now gone on to the wing where Kevin Sheedy's always wanted to play him, and Greg Anderson has gone back into the forward line.
Ball up to centre wing. Here's Salmon in the ruck with Wine, but taken away by Cretiuk, who comes from St Albans, same place as Collinuk came from, so that would have been interesting calling them play.
Cretiuk and Collinuk.
The other thing about putting Danaher on the wing is that he's struggled a bit since he's come back with his knee operation, and perhaps getting him up there away from the pressure of the back line is going to enable him to get into a bit of form.
Well, Buick showing pace there, and that's great play by Buick. Anderson can kick it to the space. Good play by Danaher to lead there, and then he dropped the mark. Wasted opportunity, but Danaher still with the ball. Baxter should go to the line. And no, still in play. Good play, Gary O'Donnell. But Delray is there. Now in defence. Caught. Gets in the handball. Steve Wallace, a wobbly one. Collinuk. Oh, good slips catch that one. A hamstring stretcher. Kicks it across the ground. This is Cretiuk. In towards half forward. Campbell. Good mark, Tony Campbell. Now the leader's on. Oh, shocking kick. Absolutely terrible football, Footscray. Skill error. Hills cross to Kickett.
Kickett, a beautiful kick to O'Donnell. Had to hold the play up. Won the game for the Bombers last week at North Hobart after about 4 minutes earlier losing the game, missing from 30 metres out right in front. That was O'Donnell. Out of defence, Reynolds. Centre wing, fine Mark Wallace. A couple of weeks ago, he combined with Flood to keep Tony Lockett goalless, and perhaps we underestimated Essendon's resurgence in form that day. Liberatore, Baxter, Reynolds towards the outer wing to Royal, who's come well up the ground and brought Wanganeen with him. Kicked by Royal to half forward. Campbell
in the back.
Yeah, pushed by Harvey, almost pushed into the mark, but no whistle. Now Kickett goes off the ground. Hawkins slips the hand pass to Smith. The kick by Smith. It's close. It's a chance. Goal. Well, they're kicking goals every half an hour, Footscray.
Yes, on that occasion, Rowan Smith kicking the goal. And Footscray really battling to get the ball through the big sticks. They've got Campbell down there in the forward line. They've shuffled players. Hawkins is back there in the forward line. They've got Grant back at full forward. He's been well held by Harvey, but they still are struggling when they go forward.
Back to the centre. 10-11 to 4-13. Salmon, the big fist. Now towards half forward. Footscray badly need another one before three-quarter time, but they won't have time, I wouldn't think. The kick out towards the boundary line rolls over with 16 seconds of play left in the third term. Anthony Danaher, one kick and 4 handballs, but as Drew said, Played 100 games with Essendon and with the Sydney Swans. Not many players have done that. That was Royal. And now finally it's tapped over the line. And there's a fight on as the siren. The emergency umpire looks like Peter. Is it Peter Carey? No, it's not. But there's emergency umpire was out there. And I think all the tempers have cooled down. Oh no, still a couple behind the plate. So they're now Salmon's into it with, who is it? Big Glenn Coleman.
So I don't think there'll be much in that.
So they've been feeling, and now look at that, there's a pack of about 15 players in there pushing and shoving.
They must have lost the oranges, Peter.
Well, as we break away from the fight, at three-quarter time, Essendon lead. Great performance. 10-11-71 to Footscray, 4-13-37.
Well, once again, Footscray managed just one goal for the quarter in time on. The Bombers 10-11-71 lead Footscray 4-13-37.
Start of the final term. Essendon with a very handy lead, 10-11 to 4-13. John Russo bounces the ball. Very impressive display this. Ken Footscray salvaged some pride. Kicked away, and that's, not marked there. It was kicked away by Liberatore. Quick kick comes to kick it from Coleman. He dropped it. Here's Atkins. They really need him taking over the game, but the umpires paid a free kick to Derek Kickett at centre half back. Apparently there were no reports in that wrestle just before three-quarter time. So there's always trial by video, of course. A kick out wide. Dean Wallace kicks and hugs the boundary line. And he's really found his niche, Dean Wallace, in defence, when early in the year he looked a very ordinary player, Tim.
Yes, Dean Wallace hasn't played a lot of football over the years with injury, and all he needed was a bit of confidence, a bit of time, which he's been able to get the last few weeks.
Here he is again and just crashes straight into Colin Newton, gets rid of him. Off to Wanganeen, the kick to full forward. Chance for playing at ground level. Goes off the ground cleverly, but hooked it back too far, and it bounces out of bounds.
It was a fairly poor effort by Colin Nook to let Wallace get through then, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. He came steaming through, though, and created another opportunity for the Bombers up forward.
Another chance here for Essendon. Wind wins in ruck. Royal now back in defence, playing actually on the ball. Hills. One to the jaw, but well ridden. Smith gets the hand pass away to Coleman. He has to wait for it. Back to Rowan Smith. He steers the pass in low. Grant. Ballantyne. No mark. He hooks it back, but not enough out of bounds on the foot.
Not good enough, John Ballantyne, as you should have at least centred that ball to the top of the square. Chris Grant actually is sitting on the bench, and well, coming back from appendicitis, it's not surprising. Good mark, Wanganeen. I wonder if he looks like he might have been moved from the back pocket, Tim. There's Buick. Well, it'll be good to see him have a run up in the centre of the ground area. Darren Buick, 14 kicks. He had 9 in the first term. Buick to half forward. The leap was by Ridley, and he scooped that one up. Spawn has been excellent. Steve Wallace, one-handed attempt. Terry Wheeler wouldn't like that. Chris Danaher. Now Bradley Plain. Plain in towards that hole at half forward. Salmon waits for the bounce. Still going after it with Stanfield. Taps it back. Steve Wallace. Was that deliberate? And the umpire giving him the benefit of the doubt, but the intention was definitely there.
As Gavin Wanganeen's ended up on the ball on Brian Royal. He's followed his man down the field, and Liberatore's taken a break down there in the forward pocket, and he's been followed down there by his opponent all day, Gary O'Donnell.
McPherson. Here's Brian Royal from half-back flank up towards centre wing for Coleman. Wallace did well to hook it over and brilliantly into the arms of Buick. Kick by Buick to the forward pocket. Ridley. Strong mark. Ex-West Australian. Played the first 3 games last year, and we just about forgot about him for the rest of the year.
Would have been a free kick anyway.
Todd Ridley, who was named as an emergency, but replaced Brendan Bauer in the selected side. Bit of a selection blind by the Essendon match committee, we feel. Kicked by Ridley. Is right to the line. Wine punches it through.
Ooh. Almost curved back there. It was a difficult kick. He was kicking with the wind gusting in his face, and nearly all the Footscray defenders and the Essendon forwards misread that one.
Keenan Reynolds to bring it back into play. Danny Del Rey, good mark at half-back. Been playing well on the forward line in recent weeks. Del Rey, or push out by Coleman, right in the centre of the back. And Michael Long to take the kick. Well, he doesn't kick it. He gives it to Gary O'Donnell. Danger here for Footscray because Salmon at the back. Oh, he didn't go for it. And he let Keenan Reynolds take the mark on his own. This is McPherson. A short chip. And he has found Steve Wallace, or dangerous, but it comes off. Smith was held when he didn't have it in the finish.
Wallace had to go in and get it a second time. Atkins under pressure. McPherson under pressure. They're just double and triple teaming them, the Bombers. Here's Anthony Danaher. Prettyhook gets back there. Danaher taps out.